Let's talk about priorities for the following year, right? I know you've got a basket full like every CIO does, but let's talk maybe about the top one or two that you're really going to focus on and make sure get done into 2025.
Yes. And so if you remember earlier this year, the Secretary of the Air Force and top leaders introduced an initiative we called Reoptimizing for Great Power Competition in alignment with the National Defense Strategy, National Security Strategy, highlighting that we need to focus on being ready for our acute threat. And we've always said that that is the PRC. And in order to do that, there are four lines of effort that we've been focusing on: developing people, generating readiness, delivering capabilities, and projecting power. And my role in that as the CIO, first of all, developing people, is making sure that we have skilled, trained workforce. Not only am I the CIO, I'm also the functional authority responsible for the day-to-day management of over 12,000 civilians that contribute to the mission. And I have a military counterpart, Lieutenant General Lauterbach. She does the same for our military personnel. And so us together have put together strategies to make sure that we give the right skills and the right tools to our airmen and guardians. And one thing you saw out of that was the reintroduction of warrant officers to the Air Force. The Space Force, no, but Air Force. And so as of tomorrow, our first cohort will graduate at Maxwell, and we will have our first 30 warrant officers in the United States Air Force. And we're excited about that because the particular skill set is cyber and IT. And so that focus on not only cybersecurity, cyberspace, but also focus on your data and also your warfighter communications. Another piece of that is being able to project power, and that is from any installation. So ensuring that our critical infrastructure is not only secure, but it's also available, and that we maintain the integrity of those capabilities for our airmen and guardians. And another one is developing capabilities. As a CIO, I established the enterprise architecture, but also set standards to ensure that integration and interoperability works together when we have multiple mission areas developing solutions. And so we laid those standards. So you'll see that we've established some new organizations within the Department of the Air Force in order to get after that. And then lastly, generating readiness. Again, it's not only the readiness of the people, but it's also the readiness of the technology. So my focus is to continue those efforts on the Great Power Competition. And of course, I cannot leave the stage without saying the two most favorite words: artificial intelligence. I will continue to focus on that this year. Not only we've been doing AI in the Air Force and autonomy for a while, but now as we move to AI-enabled autonomy, how do we do that in a responsible way? But also, how do I use generative AI as a means to help with some productivity with my airmen and guardians? And so using large language models, we implemented generative AI, our NIPR GPT, and it's an experiment for us in order to understand which use cases work best with which large language models. And so we've asked our airmen and guardians to get accounts, ask questions, log in. And so we're working with our vendor partners to make sure we can capture that and understand which large language model works best, but also understanding the total cost of ownership when you're going to implement generative AI, rather that's compute, rather that's the skills you need, and how do we think about those in a more strategic way. And so those are the things, and I'll continue to focus on implementing zero trust, meeting the strategic guidance provided by the DoD CIO, the target level and the advanced level as well for zero trust. And that helps us to modernize our network and protect at the data level, being data centric and less network centric. And so those are the things that I'll be focusing on. And always, as you know, Luke, the bottom of all of that, the foundation is our people, creating ways that we can identify, recruit, retain our talent within the Air Force and Space Force, and that includes both our military and our civilian counterparts. And so we have a busy year ahead of us, and those are the things that I'll be focused on.